Hey everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the Michael Dude Podcast. Thanks so much for joining me. Again, just broadcasting from our new home here in England. It's good to be here. Man, like I said, anytime you make a change, it's going to be chaos. And chaos, it's important to us because unfortunately for us to grow or to make changes in our lives, we have to be willing to deal with it. There was a lot of chaos over the last couple of weeks, over the summer, but things have gotten better. Things are slowing down. Things are getting easier. And overall, I'm really happy with the move. I'm glad we made it. So kids are back in school this week, so that's exciting. So other than that, kids, they had a long summer. They got off in like June and they didn't go back till September, which is absolutely crazy. But anyway, I want to talk about something that's really important. I think a lot of people carry this around with them, whether they realize it or not. And what I want to talk about is resentment. You know, resentment is just something you don't want to be dealing with. It's not something you want. I mean, resentment is like drinking a poison and then waiting for another person to die. It's a simmering grudge. It's an unwelcome guest at your mental party, you know, just hanging around in your head. It's always whispering in your ear. Remember that time? Remember? You know, it's the emotional equivalent of wearing a really tight pair of shoes, right? You just keep moving forward, but it hurts with every step. Now, while it might feel justified, resentment often ends up doing more damage to you than the other person, the situation that caused it. In short, you know, resentment, it's exhausting. It's the least productive hobby that you ever really want to pick up in your life. So today, that's kind of what we're going to talk about, all right? Because again, for many people, they don't realize it's heavy, it's burdensome, it's this emotion again that many people are carrying. They don't realize it. You know, it often starts as a small spark or an unmet expectation, a slight, a perceived injustice. It just grows into a raging fire, consuming, you know, your thoughts and affecting your actions. And over time, resentment can become a silent saboteur, you know, holding you back from living the fulfilling and joyful life that you really deserve. But here's what I want to talk about. Why does resentment have such a powerful grip on people? And how can we break free from it? That's what we're going to talk about today. At its core, resentment it's an emotional response to feeling wronged, right? It can stem from personal relationships, professional interactions, or even social injustices, right? When we feel resentment, it's as if we're keeping a mental tally of every wrong done to us, whether, you know, it's real or perceived. I mean, this mental list becomes a barrier preventing us from moving forward. You know, resentment traps us in a cycle of negative thinking. We replay scenarios in our minds, imagining different outcomes or wishing we had responded differently. It's this constant rumination of, you know, that doesn't just keep us stuck in the past. It also affects our present. It colors our perceptions. It influences our decisions and often leads to more resentment, creating a vicious cycle that's really hard to break free from. And the thing was, you know, when you have resentment, what it's really doing to you is it's creating an emotional drain. You know, it's mentally and probably physically as well, you know, because it's going to affect you if you're mentally, you know, it's exhausting. It takes a toll really on your mental health. It leads you to feelings of anger, frustration, and even depression. You know, when we're caught up in resentment, we have a less of an emotional energy for positive experiences, for joy, and for growth. You know, it's going to affect your relationships. You know, if it's left unchecked, it can poison your relationships. It can create walls between yourself and others, leads to misunderstanding, distrusts, creates further conflict, manifests usually as a passive or aggressive behavior, which can erode even the strongest of bonds you might have in your life. It's definitely going to hold you back from, you know, growing as a person. Because the thing is, when we're focused on blaming others or holding on to grudges, we miss out on opportunities for self-reflection and personal development. Right? Resentment keeps us in a victim mentality where we see ourselves as powerless rather than empowered to create change. And the thing is, anytime you're having these cycles of negativity or, in your mind, it's really, because your mind and your body, like I was talking about a couple seconds earlier, they're deeply connected, right? So it is going to affect you physically. If you have chronic resentment, it can really lead to stress-related health issues, high blood pressure, heart disease, and a weakened immune system. By clinging to resentment, we're not just harming our emotional well-being, but our physical health as well. So if you're doing this, or maybe you just realized you're somebody doing this, it's time to break free from resentment and start living a better life without it. So the first step really there is, to acknowledge it. Acknowledge and accept the fact that maybe you're holding resentment towards something. Reflect on your feelings and recognize the situations of the people you're holding resentment against. Accept these feelings without judgment. You're only human. It's okay to feel hurt or wrong, but it's important not to let these feelings basically control your life, because from there, then you got to be able to shift your perspective. Try to see the situation from a different angle. Empathy is a powerful tool in reducing resentment. Consider other people's perspective as to, their motivations or their struggles, or, because often resentment is rooted in a misunderstanding or lack of communication. So by shifting your perspective, you can really open a door to forgiveness and understanding more, right? Get rid of this need that you have to revenge someone, right? Because that's really what resentment brings a lot of time, right? This desire for retribution or justice. However, holding on to that desire only prolongs your suffering. Letting go doesn't mean you condone the behavior that hurt you. It just means you refuse to let it control you. Remember, forgiveness is a gift you give yourself, not the person who wronged you. Spend more time focusing on your gratitude and positivity in your life. Redirect your energy towards positive experiences and relationships that you do have. Gratitude is another powerful antidote for resentment. When you focus on what you're grateful for, you shift your mindset from scarcity to abundance. The shift can help you let go of grudges and open your heart to more positive emotions. Because a lot of times when people hold in resentment, it's because they feel like they're lacking something, that somebody has something that didn't have, or they got something that you didn't get. And you're looking at what you don't have. Look at what you do have. Everybody has something in their lives, It may not be big. It may not be small. You might have a couch to sit on, food over your head, whatever it is. There's always something that you can be grateful for. And if it's really driving you crazy, then seek professional help. Last thing you want to do is carry this around. Resentment is not going to help you anywhere. So if you need to, see a therapist, talk to a coach. Hey, talk to a coach. People who can provide you guidance and tools to support you, to help you navigate your emotions and develop a healthier coping strategies to get out of this. Because again, nothing good comes from it. Because listen, when you break free from resentment, it's not just about forgetting or minimizing what happened. It's about reclaiming your power, choosing to live a life of peace and joy. Forgiveness is a powerful act of self-liberation. It allows you to release the chains of resentment and move forward with a lighter heart, so to speak. Stop carrying it around. Again, remember, resentment, it's like holding onto a hot coal with an intention of throwing it at someone else. In the end, you are the only one who's getting burned right now. Choose to let it go. Set yourself free, open a door to a more fulfilling and happy and meaningful life, okay? So if you're somebody who's finding that you're carrying resentment or you're harboring a lot of it, start today. Acknowledge it. Acknowledge your feelings towards it. Start shifting your perspective and embrace the freedom that comes with forgiveness. You will be on a better journey in your life when you can let that go. All right, everybody, that's all I got for you today. Hope you're doing well. Hope you have a great weekend ahead of you. Hope you've had, hope this is just exciting for people. I hope there's just great things going on in your life. And as always, I got nothing but love for you.